We're back. Thank you for joining me. I know that I said in my last video that I wouldn't come out with another update video until Contra Force was done, but I've added more content. I've even added stages that weren't even in the original, so it's been taking me a little bit longer to complete. So patience, everybody, patience. It will come out. I mean, the longer it takes to come out, the better the game's going to be anyway. So I want to talk about the 3 stages, one extra, maybe another one that aren't even in the original game, the changes that I made, and also I want to talk about the case artwork that I finished for the game as well. So the next stages, or the next segments of the game that I'm working on, are the actual Contra Force levels now. So I have the Shishi Towers level. I know that's what it's called. I try to look up the names legitimately for these stages, and some of them are different, so I try to find the one that's the most commonly used amongst all of them. So that's basically what they're calling this stage. And it's basically a building that's under construction. It's like a construction site stage, but it's different than the other ones because what I've done is I've made the screen much wider and much taller. So it is a vertical type stage, but you do go horizontal in it as well, where the other stages are mostly, they're fixed sized. So it's either a side scroller horizontal or it's a side scroller vertical. This one's a combination of both. So it's just like one big construction site building tower that you have to get to the top of. There's moving platforms, there's terrorists with bazookas, all sorts of cool stuff. And then at the end of that, you have the boss, which is like this super gunship. It's got this cool mini gun on the bottom that kind of tracks where you are, and it shoots out these big flaming jet streams. Kind of neat boss, again, that is from the original game. And then there is a stage that I have added that is not in any of the games at all. It is called the sewer stage. I didn't know what else to call it because that's basically what it is. And it's kind of neat because, again, it's sort of a horizontal vertical, so it's shaped like a sideways L, or it kind of reminds me of maybe just like that L Tetris piece put on its side. So you do go through the sewers horizontally first, and then at the end of it you can go vertical up on it. And you fight cool things, like there are these, poisonous alien slimes that come out onto the ground all over the place, and your typical Contra terrorist things that try to kill you, and gun turrets, etc., etc. But at the end of that stage, I had to think, and this is why it's been taking me a little bit longer to complete the game. I had to think of a boss that's not in any of the original games before, but I wanted to keep it traditional. So I'm not going to spoil this boss for you because it's way too cool, and I spent like 2 days programming this boss in because he's so iconic and classic, and the minute that you see it, you're going to be like, oh, I know this guy right away, right? So he is from a Contra game, but I don't want to give away what it is because it is way, way, way too good. It's way too cool. And in the final Contra Force stage, just for this segment, mind you, not the final stages, I just called it the airport. Pretty straightforward. You run through an airport terminal, and then you run into the inside of like the I don't know what you want to call it, the warehouse part of the airport. Now, the original game, it was really, really weird. That stage, well, the whole game, the whole original Contra Force is weird, but that whole stage I found didn't really make much sense. It sort of started with the boss right away, and you kind of had to chase him through this airport area until you made it to the roof, and then you fought him. It was just, I don't know, it didn't make much sense. I didn't like it. It wasn't traditional. So this way it's traditional. You go through the airport, you fight terrorists, you fight your typical Contra enemies, etc., etc. And then once you make it to the roof, then you actually fight the final Contra Force boss for that stage. And he's your typical shirtless commando. They probably got the idea literally from the movie Commando, as they always like to do, or maybe even Rambo, who knows, right? But I'm obviously gonna jazz up the AI like I do with all of the bosses, just to make them more interesting, make them do more things, better attacks, better strategy, and just overall more content, and the flow of the game much better. Because remember, my purpose of remaking the games all the time is to retain the spirit and the essence of what made the original one so great, but just make life improvements, but also fix what was wrong with I don't know what you want to call it other than AI, or the coding of just how enemies move and what their attacks are, and especially with the bosses, just to add a lot more strategy to it. But my main goal with this game, like it is with all of my games that I create, is sort of like when you play it, you just don't want to play the original one ever again, and that was my point. So I have a total of 17 stages now. There may even be more by the time I come out with this video, so don't even quote me on that, but think about that. 17 Contra stages in one game. That's more than triple usually any of the original 8-bit Contras. They only had about 4 or 5 stages anyway. So I thought that was really, really neat. And there's a I don't even know how many bosses, because there's mini bosses as well. So there's probably a total of over 20 bosses in the game as well. So once that is complete, then I'm going to be working on, well, it's basically complete now. I'm just finishing off the airport stage. Then I'm going to be working on the Red Falcon's secret underground lair stages. I know, but that's basically the premise of the game. I've got some of the cutscenes added as well to explain the story, such as that you have to go through all of these different areas, which is basically like Contra 1, Contra 2, and then Contra Force. And once you complete them, you will get these secret documents, or you will get this more information, whatever you want to call it, military information, secret information on where the location is of Red Falcon's lair, because you can see it in the stage select area, but you can't select it, you can't go to it until you've received all of the information that you need from all 3 of the stage sections. So with that out of the way, let's look at the case artwork, which I think I did a really, really good job on, because I actually found, like I did with Castlevania 3, it's not that easy to find. You kind of got to dig for it quite a bit to get it, and I didn't think that it even existed, but it does, is the full, I don't know what you want to call it, poster artwork of the original game, of the original Contra Force box artwork, without all of the stupid logos and stickers and crap all over it. I actually found the unmolested original artwork for it. And so I put that on the front of the box. It looks absolutely fantastic, but I wanted to give more to that. So on the insert, because all my games come with an insert on the inside, I wanted to do a different artwork. And this is a really cool artwork, because I was debating whether or not using this, debating between the 2 artworks. So stay with me on this. This artwork that's inside on the insert piece is actually from, I believe it's from a Japanese magazine that was advertising the game, and it had a different name to it, but it's still the same game. But I like the artwork, and I thought it looked pretty damn cool, and again, it gives you more variety. So that's going to be the artwork on the inside of the case. The disc looks great, everything looks great. So that's it. So big update, lots of progress. I am now super excited, because I am working on the best part, the end stages, Red Falcon's alien lairs. It's going to be 3 continuous, it's going to be 3 stages that you have to actually pass, so it's not just one stage. I'm going to put in bosses, I'm going to put in mini bosses, I'm going to make it challenging, I'm going to make it just straight up awesome, because I love it when I finally get to the end stages where my mind can just go berserk with it, right? And it's going to be fantastic. I know you guys can't wait for it. But if you do want to see full gameplay footage of the stages that I have created so far, make sure that you join me on my Instagram. The link is down below. I'm not getting enough followers there, so join me there. And also join me and everyone else who enjoys the games as well on my Facebook groups page, which is also, the link is down below too. So there's that. So join there if you want to see it. That's where you're going to see the gameplay footage, screenshots of the case artwork, etc., etc. So thanks a lot, guys. And if you do want to see another video of Contra or maybe something else I've created, click over here. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe, because there's a button over here that you can click the subscribe button. Oh, look at that. The subscribe thing might have just, popped up, because YouTube's got these cool things, right? You click it and you get the cool fireworks that go off. I don't know. Whatever. I'll see you guys next time.